Number 44 is Crazy Clouds. Crazy Clouds is the final and, in my opinion, the best secret seclusion level. The reason is a bunch of platforms are being ridden around on clouds, which is a pretty interesting idea because the clouds eventually run out, and there are even planes. And I think it's pretty interesting how both the first and last level of this game involve plane wrecks. It's actually a really cool idea, and it utilizes the challenge of this world the best, in my opinion, if that makes sense. And speaking of the first level in the game, we have number 43, Mangrove Cove. From the final level to the first level. Mangrove Cove is iconic. The song is, well, I don't even need to say, it's fantastic. This one introduces so much of the game. It introduces underwater, the different enemies, the Kong letters, the bonus rooms, the DK barrels, the things you pull out of the ground. It's just a very fun level. And I really like how you enter this level not by crashing in, but literally shooting into a plane wreck. You can even go back inside that plane and you see the DKC Returns TVs. It's a very fun level, but I can see why some people might not like it so much compared to the other ones because there is a lot of stopping and waiting for things to happen, mainly from the hooks you pull out. Number 42 is Trunk Twister. Trunk Twister is the first minecart level in the game, so, nothing too challenging. It has some interesting dynamic camera angles, the jazz is really nice, and I like how near the end of this level, you're twisting and turning around the tree, and you even fall down the track, and there's like a cool little animation, which is pretty unique compared to some other levels, where they don't have the little cutscene in them. And near the end, you're even going over water and a bunch of ship cargo. It's really cool, and it's really admirable how this early into the game they're already being this creative. And number 41 is Rodent Ruckus. This is the first Rocket Barrel level in the game. We're getting a lot of first here. In this one, you have to avoid a bunch of cheese and rats. Near the end, there's a huge cheese wheel to avoid. It's really nice, and I love how they remixed the Rocket Barrel theme from DKC Returns in 4 different versions here, because that is my favorite video game song ever, of course. It's just a very cool level, and I like the ideas too. Number 40 is Bopopolis. This is my second favorite Kong Temple level. It's not my favorite, but it's still very fun. And in this one, you're jumping on a bunch of enemies. The song is really cool, and you can get so many lives here and banana coins. Like, honestly, if you're ever in a pinch for them, just head on over to this level and you'll get what you're looking for. It's a very fun one, and I often hear people say it's the most challenging level in the game. I gotta disagree, because if you're good at timing these jumps, this level can not really be challenging per se, but very fun. It definitely is satisfying. And number 39 is Platform Problems. Here it is, the real best Kong Temple level in the game, in my opinion. This one has a bunch of sinking platforms, and wow, this one is challenging. It's not the final Kong Temple, but man, it really should have been. These platforms appear at the very last second, and a lot of times they only appear for a few seconds. This level is insanely long, seriously. It amazed me how long it was the first time around. Especially near the end where there's so many of these rising platforms, and you have to pay attention to bouncing on enemies and getting high jumps in order to make it on these platforms in time, make sure they appear. It's a really cool one, and it's definitely one of the most challenging levels, if not the most challenging level in the game. But it's still very fun. Number 38 is Fugu Face Off. Yet another boss level, not one of my favorites because, well, it's underwater. You have to defeat Fugu, this huge pufferfish, and what you do is you spin into his vulnerable spot where he doesn't have any spikes. He spins around and he sucks up the air to get bigger and he blows it out to get smaller. And in the final phase, he takes off like half the arena, which can be very challenging to avoid but also fun. It's a very interesting boss fight, and for being an underwater one, it's surprisingly fun. Number 37 is Icicle Arsenal. Another level where it's kind of forgettable, but still pretty fun. This is one of the last levels in the game, and it takes place as one of the secret levels in Donkey Kong Island. The song is very peaceful and nice, but it fits another level much better in my opinion. In this one, you're exploring icicle caverns with icicles. Duh. And in this one, you really get the feeling that the snowmans have taken over your home. There are a bunch of these guys everywhere. You get to see towers, and most of it takes place inside, but you get to see the outside at some point. Near the end, it's very beautiful, with all the icicles. It feels like Gorilla Glacier from the original Donkey Kong Country. It's a very nice level, mainly for its visuals. Number 36 is Cannon Canyon, one of the most iconic levels in the game for all of its very dynamic camera angles. This one has you shooting through a bunch of barrel cannons in the bright savannah, going through a bunch of canyons and valleys and ravines. It's a very fun one, and you even have to avoid some dynamite on ropes at some point, and you even get some pretty cool secrets like puzzle pieces if you time your blast right. There's even one point where you shoot into this huge wooden tower and kill a bunch of enemies at once. It's pretty fun. Number 35 is Irate 8. I know a lot of people love this level and expected it to be higher, but I just really couldn't. This one is honestly kind of frustrating because avoiding some of these tentacles and swimming upwards while avoiding all the black ink at the bottom is pretty annoying, but it's still a very fun level, and I really like how the Squidicus from DKC Returns appears again here. Well, he returns, and near the end you even get to defeat him by shooting dynamite down by timing your barrel blast right. And the theme is really nice too. The remix is Lockjaw Saga from TKC2. Very nice. Number 34 is Mountaintop Tussle, another boss level, and this one has you throwing these baby eggs, these baby owl eggs, at this big grandfather kind of dude. This guy is Scowl, and he's this big owl king, and you get higher and higher as the fight goes on to the point where you go from the treetops all the way high into the purple sky. It's a very nice one, and I really like the theme, and all the feather attacks are pretty cool, and for being the second boss in the game, they really go hard into difficulty here, but it's really fun, and I like how you can even time some of your throws with these little chicklings of the owls just right. It can be pretty fun. And number 33 is Alpine Incline. This is one of the shortest levels in the game, but that does make sense, seeing as it comes out of the second world, Autumn Heights. The theme is just beautiful. I just want to take a second to admire it. A lot of songs in this game are amazing, but this one, in my opinion, I don't think it gets enough love compared to some other beautiful Nintendo songs. It even progresses more and more as you get higher and higher into the mountains, bouncing on top of these, like, balloons and such. And eventually, near the top, you get to hear a sweet, really, really nice guitar riff as you ride on a hot air balloon, and you finally get out of the clouds, and everything is peaceful and beautiful as you're hopping on top of these balloons. It is a very fun level, and I love how dynamic it is, even if it is short. Number 32 is Baobab Bonanza. Baobab Bonanza has you avoiding a bunch of spiked nuts in the trees. The song isn't anything too fantastic, but it didn't need to be. It's an interesting level concept, and there are even some flowers that shift back and forth. And it makes sense if the level isn't anything too crazy, seeing as how it's early into the Bright Savannah world. Near the end, there's a huge spiked nut you have to avoid, though. It's pretty fun avoiding it, as it knocks down all the trees, flowers, and such. It's a pretty cool idea, and it's a very fun level to play if Cranky is in your arsenal. And number 31 is Aqueduct Assault. This is one of the shortest levels in the game, but this time it's kind of surprising because this one comes out of DK Island, and they're basically it's a temple world, kind of, and it's based off the ruins from DKCR. And while this is one of my favorite levels from DK Island in this game, it's still a very fun one, as everything is sinking. The song is very intense, and it kind of feels Pirates of the Caribbean-esque. It's a very fun one with all the sinking platforms and ruins. It's really cool. You even see a DK, like an 8-bit DK statue near the end holding a Wii U gamepad with DK Jr. on it. It's a pretty cool Easter egg. Number 30 is Busted Bayou. I don't need to explain why so many people love it. It's a combination of two things. One, bringing back the silhouette art style from Returns, and two, easily one of the most beloved songs in the game. It's easy to see why. That sweet jazz riff is amazing, but the rest of the song ain't bad either. It's a very fun one, and all the secrets that come with these silhouette levels from Returns and in this game are pretty cool. It might be my least favorite silhouette level in the game, but it's still a silhouette level, which means it's amazing.